During the 2008 recession, businesses struggled. Many folded and never had an opportunity to come back to life. And our business was not spared. I remember waking up to a whole host of emails which were coming through telling us that, you know what, you've lost all the contracts. We lost 3/4 of the business. And I remember having to make a decision that week. How were we going to move forward and what was going to be the next steps? And I remember making a decision that I was going to survive and I would make everything work. But digital was the only way to make things work. Little did I know that this pivot would come in handy when the pandemic happened in 2020. It was very easy for me and all the teams in the businesses to continue working even when everything had to change. It needed quick thinking, but we had the foundations in place. And now roll on 3 years later, COVID has shown us that it's very easy to adapt when we're pushed into it. And so this is the conversation that I want us to have today. I've realized that companies in the West have pivoted and they've maintained the momentum and they are not going backwards. But I realize that companies in Africa, for example, Zimbabwe, are struggling to stay on this pivot movement. So what is it that is different being in Western countries and being in African countries? This is why today I'm having a conversation with Simon Kaguramamba, an amazing award-winning entrepreneur. And we want to talk about the 4th industrial revolution. So welcome, Simon, to the episode.
Are you in Fungai in the manner, of course, the famous, but no, thanks for having me. Yeah, great to be here.
Yeah, so can you tell us, I'm going to let you introduce yourself to the audience with all these accolades that you have.
Very, very good. I think I'm probably best known for just being, when I describe myself to my family, I say I'm the tinkerer who tries so many different things, but to the world that appears as a serial entrepreneur. So yeah, I think primarily I'm known for the business I started called Action Starter, where we are a software solutions business in 45 different countries. We've got a strong team of 90 members of staff between here, Zimbabwe and South Africa. But alongside that, I run a whole bunch of other activities around mentoring young people, around entrepreneurship, speaking, and so on. Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing, Simon. And I remember us having a conversation and you telling me when you first came to England, right? You came to study architecture. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, long time ago when, growing up in Zimbabwe, you were told that you had to be in a very formal education setting. And I know my parents will be cringing as I speak. But yeah, ultimately, that was where I came, when I came to study. I came to study architecture. I did my architecture. And found that it was very formative in what I do now as well, because it forced me to be creative. Yeah. In fact, I studied right here in London, on the South Bank. So London was a very different place then. We had a lot of space to explore, a lot of things to do around that space. The biggest achievement I think at the time was doing a lot of work around the London Olympics that was due to happen in 10 years from when I left the industry. But yeah, it was a very formative time, and I think I take a lot from it.
Wow. And so let's talk about the pivoting, right? So you are coming from a place where you've come to study and you're supposed to be doing architecture, and now you are doing technology, right?
Yes.
Software development.
Yes.
And I want you to just give our audience a sense of the why that happened and how that relates to the topic we're having today.
Yeah, no, very interesting. So I think I quickly realized, being in the industry, that it's going to take a long time to get to the top. Right. Not only am I in a foreign country, but equally, I was one of the best in my cohort, I guess, because I was one of the 3 to get a job. Everyone else didn't get a job. Mm-hmm. So quickly I realized how competitive it was going to be, but also knew how many years it would take for me to get to the top.
Right.
And naturally, we want to be successful. I think we all want to be successful. I could see that the journey was going to be long. Right. So I moved into a space where I thought, well, my whole passion was around music, creativity. I remember distinctively saying to myself, I want to do a job that challenges me every day.
Right.
And you can see the background to this as I was editing and updating Windows all day.
Wow.
For architectural drawings that had failed at planning. So that motivated me to go strong into it. And then I started dabbling with web. There was no software, there were no Facebook didn't exist those days.
Yeah.
There was no social media. It was a very different world.
Yeah.
So you had to do everything from scratch. And I taught myself how to do it, thanks to a lot of help from the people around me at the time. And the reason, like I said, was to just start to create the future I wanted.
Right.
Which was really driven by being creative and doing something different every day. I didn't want to be stuck in the center of just repetitive tasks.
We're ready.